I have attended North MacArthur since 1989.
1993.
1975.
2020.
2005.
We're coming up on a total of 19 years of partnership.
10 years.
10 years.
2 years now.
When I came, I placed membership in 77, worked in the daycare. It was completely different. Where the small auditorium was our big auditorium. It seemed really big then. And we didn't have an upstairs. And the auditorium was a gym floor and basketball courts at the north side and the south side. And all those chairs were moved aside and it could turn into a volleyball court and basketball.
It was so friendly. We visited one time before we moved and then didn't come back for weeks. And when we did come back, people remembered our names. They remembered us visiting before, and it was just so friendly.
When we got here, we were pretty broken. And so we were leaving a church home that I had grown up in, and we came here, and we knew a lot of people here, but we were still broken as far as spiritually. And one thing that we learned very quickly here was how spiritually strong everyone was, and how everyone was willing to help edify us and build us up and make it a church home very quickly.
Tim, of course, was preaching, and we never went anywhere else. We liked his style, and we knew that the truth was being preached.
Macy was 4 and Callie was 2 when we moved here. Ryder was born here. And so just the privilege of being able to stay in this place for so long, the consistency of that, not just for preaching and teaching and evangelism, but it's just really healthy for a minister's family to be able to stay in the same place for that long, for our children to be able to have friendships with people that they've known almost their whole life, and not just other teenagers, but adults who have made, I think, significant contributions to their faith.
Right after we started coming to North MacArthur, I accidentally spilled a bunch of communion grape juice on Shorty Huber's white sports coat. We were sitting right behind him, and when the communion tray came to me, the cups were sticking. And I was kind of pulling and trying not to put too much pressure, but then I crushed one. And Shorty, who was sitting right in front of me, got purple spots all over his sports coat.
There was a lady that her name was Edith Mills, and she was just a very wise woman and just grew old gracefully, and I want to be like her. She was a very giving with her money and her time and her cooking, and just a graceful lady. I'd like to be just like her.
Diana Williams, meeting us at the door and greeting us.
David Sams was very, very outgoing and friendly and welcoming us here.
When I think about Charles Williams, not just a great elder, but a co-worker for 25 years.
I had a chance to sit down with Mac Layton and Stan Freitas, the pulpit minister and the associate minister at the time, and had a chance to visit with them about the doctrine.
I remember Charles Williams distinctly saying, no matter what, we will teach the Word of God, and only the Word of God.
Gary and Barbara Smith, I remember, were a couple that reached out to us and were very outgoing and friendly as well.
I think about Bill and Claudia Crane a lot. They did so much for our family, especially when we were really little. They would take us back to school shopping.
Mac Layton was very friendly and is the one who remembered our names and came back. And Fred Rhodes.
If I can encourage anyone, I want to encourage all of the elders. I think they do an incredible job. I think they do some of the best jobs of putting what they're supposed to do, the spirituality first. They're constantly worried about Bible class material. They're constantly worried about praying, something that I think all of us as a congregation need to do more of. But their emphasis on prayer. And to have an elder call me about once every quarter and say, hey, you're on my list of prayer, what can I pray for your family, knowing that they're praying for us, is pretty outstanding.
I like the blending of the younger families and the older families. There are obviously some activities for each group, but kind of across the board, then that's been, I think, something very positive.
It has a good mix of kind of all ages, a lot of younger families, a lot of youth, a lot of kind of older, couples.
One of the things that most attracted us was when we talked with the elders, it seemed very clear that they weren't looking for someone to do the work of the parents. They just wanted someone who would be a resource for parents and would help provide a place where kids could come and connect and grow.
I think that my favorite part of growing up here was probably youth group and going to camp, devos, Bible studies.
One time we went to the Embassy Suites for the Move conference. That was really fun. And camp's pretty fun.
Obviously, everything we do that sticks with us is because of relationships, not just because we went to some cool place or had some cool experience, but when you're with other people and building those memories, those are the things that stick with us.
I was involved when Preachers Training Camp first started.
For whatever reason, that 1 week at Preachers Training Camp gives guys a chance to be around other guys that are maybe wrestling with the same worries or doubts about ministry. They get to spend some time with our staff, who is made up mostly of guys who were in their place. They said, nah, ministry's not gonna happen for me. And then to watch those young guys grow throughout the week, and many of them to turn around then and go off and train to become preachers and youth ministers and missionaries.
And that was really special. We had a lot of fun. We saw all of these young men that are now preaching come and go through that Preachers Training Camp.
I just love watching God take someone who's like, oh, I could never do that. And then just saying, well, just watch.
Come someplace where you can feel comfortable that sound doctrine is being taught, plus you'll meet some of the friendliest people you've ever met.
We knew from the very beginning that it was scripturally sound, and that was very important to us. We had visited some congregations in Oklahoma that we just weren't confident in, and so the Bible classes and they got Carrie involved right away in teaching and participating in classes and just always comfortable with where the church was going.
Something that stands out to me about North MacArthur that I think would be something that most people would want in a congregation is that they are very willing to try new things. They're willing to be open to new ministries. Since we've been here for 2 years, we've been involved with 2 new ministries here, and the congregation really gets behind that. And I don't know.
Not only that, but I think the eldership really is very supportive of new ministries, new ideas, something that's going to be beneficial for not only the congregation, but for the community and for the kingdom as well.
I think this congregation has a range of ages that everybody can be together and socialize in that age also. And I think it's so nice to be able to get to know all different ages of people. And like I said, there's just so many things you can be involved in.
I think the involvement, the commitment level, the interaction, the fellowship, all of those things are a real strength of the church. But I think one of the things we all have to do is take personal responsibility to kind of help encourage and strengthen both the fellowship and the nurture of the church that we're a part of.
There are a few people that are still here that were here 50 years ago when the congregation started. And I just met with one of those people recently, Dan Walker, and he said unity is what's held us together for the past 50 years, and unity is what's going to hold us together for the next 50.
North MacArthur has something for everybody. And good eldership and good direction teach you the meat of the Bible. and we're all family and would help you grow, help you with personal problems, I would highly recommend North MacArthur to come and raise your family.